welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends, NFL Week 4 edition. And we are ready to break down NFL Week 4. We have the normal games that we normally would have, and we have an early Sunday game at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I guess now will be a good time to announce that the Sunday show will be moving to Saturday night instead. Just because I'm going to be getting up early to watch the Vikings game, but I don't want to have to get up an hour and a half earlier than that to do the show. And I'm not doing the show during the Vikings game because that just doesn't make sense. So Saturday night will be the NFL show. The Sunday betting show. Turnsy likes Flames, Wings, Moneyline Parlay. Well, guess what, Turnsy? Go watch the show we did earlier today. That is one of my parlays. So, best of luck. I like it, and I'm already on it. So, we will get started with Thursday night football. And we do not have the Miami Marlins at the Cincinnati Bengals. Close. Miami Dolphins. I apologize. That's what happens when you cap all the different sports. Miami Dolphins at Cincinnati Bengals, Thursday night football. Currently, you can find Miami plus 163 to plus 175. The Bengals minus 200 to minus 225. The 3.5, 4, 4.5, and a 5 when it comes to the spread. 47 and 46.5 when it comes to the total. There's injury concerns and question marks with the Dolphins, obviously with Tua and Waddle. Apparently, they're both slated to play. Obviously, nothing's official yet. But those question marks, even if they do play, they're obviously not going to be 100%. And this game is currently a pass for me at this moment. Dave is saying hi from his car studio. Boobs. Hello, Dave. Dolphins, Bengals right now. I want to back the Bengals. I think the Bengals obviously got off to a really rough start. Well, they only lost by 3 points those two games, so it's not that rough of a start. But obviously, it was against the Jets last week. Are they really back? I'm not sure yet. But a win against this Dolphins team, who is 3-0, would prove that the Bengals are maybe back. So we'll have to see at this point in time. Most likely I'll have a play in this game on tomorrow's show and maybe on picks and parlays as well. Obviously tomorrow with news. Once I get more news about players playing in this game, I will have an official pick. Nothing right now. Nick, Dolphins, Bengals, what do you think here?
Yeah, this is a game that I've actually locked in a play for already, and it's already moved a half point in my direction. I'm on the under 47.5 in this game. It's another primetime under that I'm looking to back. Those are 7-2-1 so far this season. The only times they've lost are by a hook and by a fluky last-second touchdown on laterals. So the primetime unders have been just coming through. If you if you teased the last one, it didn't come through. But if you've teased them, you've gotten every single under there. And I think that continues into this one here. The market's moving towards it as well. Even though majority of the money in the tickets are coming in on the over, the line's dropped from 48.5 down to 47.5 down to 47. So I can see this only going lower, especially if they announce Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the starting quarterback, which if they do announce Bridgewater as the quarterback, this line is going to move to 6.5, 7. At that point, I'll take the Dolphins. I'll take 6.5, 7 points with the Dolphins if it moves to that much. I would honestly prefer Teddy Bridgewater over Tua because I prefer a fully healthy Teddy Bridgewater versus a injured, banged up Tua. I think those are about even, and you'll probably get a better price for it. So I'm hoping they announce Bridgewater's the starter. I can go ahead and take 6.5 or 7 with the Dolphins, or maybe something along those lines. If not, then I'm just going to ride the under 47 in here. Under 47.5 for me.
If those guys are playing, if Tua's playing and Waddle's playing, we could see movement towards Miami, I think. I think some of this, because Miami's 3-0. We have to look at it. Miami's 3-0. Why are they a dog in this game? Maybe books are prepared for Tua to be out, but
either that or they think public or money's going to come in on the Dolphins, and they think the Bengals win this dominantly. Which I don't know if the Bengals are back. Yeah, they won last week. They played Joe Flacco, and this team is 1-2 versus Cooper Rush, Joe Flacco, and Mitch Trubisky.
Well, they'll have to prove it here against an undefeated team.
They still have to prove themselves here, the Bengals, that they're not on a Super Bowl hangover.
We'll go to the next game, and that is Sunday morning football. 9:30 a.m. Eastern, we have the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. From what I hear, it sounds like we may be getting Andy Dalton making his season debut for the Saints. If that is the case, Dalton over half a interception will be on my card, 100%. But come on now. I'm taking Minnesota minus 2.5. I think 2.5 is a great number. If this was 3.5, I'd be off it, but 2.5, I'll take that for sure. Vikings look good against Green Bay in week 1. Got smashed by Philly week 2. Was able to come back against the Lions in week 3. Now we have week 4 in London. And the Vikings are just better than the Saints team. Especially offensively. The Vikings offense hasn't shown it quite yet, and I don't think they're going to go off for like 40 points or something like that. But Vikings minus 2.5, I really like that play in this one. But yeah, the odds, Minnesota minus 138 to minus 150, New Orleans plus 115 to plus 130, 2.5s, a couple threes, and then 43 and 43.5 when it comes to the total. Nick, does Sunday morning football count as a prime time game?
I don't count it as a prime time game, but what it is a standalone game, which people are going to bet the over on this game because it's a standalone game. It's the only game you can watch at that time. So yeah, I think that we could see this over get bet a little bit here. I'm going to be on the under 43. This is pretty simple for me. It's a standalone game, so I'm not going to count this towards the primetime games, but I don't trust either of these offenses. We're either going to get a banged-up Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton at quarterback for the Saints, and we're getting Kirk Cousins and a Minnesota Vikings offense that has been rather disappointing so far this season. They had to come back. They had to score 14 points against in the fourth quarter against the Lions to come back and win that game. And it felt like this team just couldn't move the ball for long periods of times against a very bad Lions defense, which is very concerning here. The Vikings were supposed to be a really strong offense coming into the season, and they averaged 19.3 points per game so far. I like the under in this game. I don't want anything to do with the side in this one at all. I heard that I think the Vikings are leaving tomorrow to head to London. And the Saints have already been in London. They left a little earlier. So I wonder why the Vikings chose to do that. But I don't know if the Vikings would be acclimated yet to the London time and all that. The jet lag can definitely catch up on you there. I want nothing to do with the side. I will look at an under 43 though.
All right. Yes, the Vikings offense has not shown up, but I think the Vikings defense has been much better than what was expected because there was some things said about the Vikings defense that it should be like bottom 5 in the league. And I don't believe that it is there at this time. Tim says 35-6 Saints. Okay.
Seems pretty spot on.
So Andy Dalton is going to give you 35 points. Interesting.
If Andy Dalton puts up 35 points, I will kiss my under goodbye.
There you go.
We'll
move into the next game here. This is going to be a really interesting one. We have the Bills and the Ravens. You can find the Bills minus 145 to minus 165. Baltimore is plus 130 to plus 140. Bills by 3. I see 1 3.5. And I see 50.5, 51, and 51.5 when it comes to the total. This one is tough. Baltimore at home, plus 3. I could see why people would want to take that. This Bills team did not look good against Miami last week. But I think we're going to have a motivated and kind of pissed off Bills team from that performance. I have not looked into injury news yet to see if the Bills will be getting any players back from their defense. Tune into Saturday night's show where I'll have more bets that are set in stone. This is kind of our look ahead type show. So I have Bills minus 3 written down. I'm going to look towards the Bills in this game. I have Bills money line written down as well, but I have not pulled the trigger because it's tough because it is Lamar on the other side and he can break out really at any point and put this team on his back, which he always does. But I like the Bills, and I think after a disappointing game last week, they bounce back here. If it moves to 2.5, then I'll take it for sure. But right now, nothing for sure. Nick, Bills and Ravens, what do you think here?
Yeah, it's actually a discrepancy in my line for this game. I had this game around a 6. Let me make sure I did that right, though, because I think that the Bills are a decent look in this game, especially after losing last game. I have the Bills as a 6.5 point favorite in this game. I don't think that's right though, because nope, I did that wrong because I accidentally gave the Bills the home field advantage when it's in Baltimore. So that's not right. That this should be a 6.5. This should be a -1 for the Ravens. So I give 2.75 points of home field advantage. So actually, it'd be lean towards the Ravens now, looking at it a little bit more. But I need to see who's starting in these games and things like that. But it's a lean towards the Ravens at the moment, just on my power rankings. I don't have too much in this game at the moment. I kind of want to lean under. It's a 51.5, which I think is a little high. And plus, I believe the Bills have gone under in every game so far this year, if I'm not mistaken. No, they went over against the Titans by a point. So, but the Bills have been a good under team so far this year. I think that we can see a little bit of a lower scoring game in this one, actually. Under 51 could be an interesting look for it.
Yeah, especially if they get some of those defensive guys back. Buffalo's defense, even last week without those defensive guys, they still didn't give up too many points to Miami. So I want to talk you off that one. Next up, we have the Commanders, the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. In this one, you can get the Commanders at plus 138 to plus 145. Dallas minus 164 to minus 175. Threes, 3.5, 41s, 41.5 mostly, and I see a 42 there. Dallas has won 4 of their last 5 against this Commanders team. So kind of like the same boat with the Giants. Dallas has had success against the Commanders in recent years. Yes, obviously, a different quarterback. But this Commanders team is bad. So kind of the same situation with the Buffalo game. I have Dallas -3 written here, hoping I get a -2.5, but most likely I'll be on Dallas's side. Money line and a parlay for sure. I have Minnesota, Buffalo, and Dallas written down for money lines, as well as Detroit, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But -3 right now, no play. Maybe the under, but I don't know. Washington's defense hasn't even really looked that good either. So no official play for me here. Want to back Dallas in some form, but nothing as of right this moment. Nick, Commanders, Cowboys, what do you think here?
I have not really too much interest. Potentially there could be a I've learned nothing play in this game where I just backed the Guardians. I backed the Commanders again. But this could be a buy low spot for the Commanders. I'm waiting for the shoe to fall off on Cooper Rush. He's not going to continue to win games like this. He's a backup for a reason. So this would be a lean towards the dog in this game if I had to get to anything in this one. I would say a lean towards the under, but this line's already dropped to point and a half, 2 points towards the under. So I think you kind of lost value on the under there. So I want to lean Commanders. It's a 3.5, so it's probably not gonna go down to that 2.5. But I would lean Commanders in this game.
Yeah, I'm not taking the spread. I'm looking at the money line because I think they're better than Seattle, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Next game, Turnsy are going to be happy to hear what I like in this game. We have the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. You can find Tennessee plus 140 to plus 160. Indianapolis minus 165 to minus 180. 3s and 3.5s, 42.5s. I see a 42 and a 43 in this one. Tennessee have won 4 of their last 5 games in Indianapolis, 4 of their last 5 overall against Indianapolis. They've had success here in this building. And I don't think this Indianapolis team is any better than they were last year. Maybe Tennessee's taken a small step back. Definitely bounced back last week. And you're going to give me plus 3.5 with the Titans. I like that. That'll be one of my plays. Titans plus 3.5. Not going to pull the trigger on the money line as of this moment. Jonathan Taylor didn't practice today. That could very well be rest. It's not like he's out of I'm not saying he's out of the lineup or anything. He didn't play today. But that always could mean that there's something there. Titans plus 3.5. I think they continue their success in Indianapolis. Nick, Titans, Colts. What do you think here?
Yeah, the Titans have taken a little bit more than just a small step back. This team sucks. And there's a reason why they're dogs in this game. I see Turnsy is asking why the hell are the Colts favored? Because they're a better overall team this year. Better overall team against rather than the Titans. Titans lost 21-20 against a rebuilding Giants team. They lost 41-7, got absolutely obliterated against the Bills. Fine, that was the Bills. And they barely squeaked out a 2-point win against one of the worst teams in football. I think the only defeated team in football still this far into the season in the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'm not very high on either. Now they're heading into Indianapolis against a team that finally got a little bit of confidence, finally got something going last week. They won straight up. I was calling it all week. Colts outright against the Chiefs, and they pulled off the upset here. Now they get a big divisional game, trying to take a step up. I mean, when you're looking at the Colts, they're still well into this divisional race because Jacksonville is your division leader. They're going to fall off. They're not a very good team, Jacksonville. I still see flaws in them here. I personally had this game at 4.5. Is where I was looking at this game. I kind of like the total a little bit more than the side, though, because if we get what I'm expecting we're going to get in this game, it's going to be a lot of Derrick Henry. It's going to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor, 2 of the best running backs in football. Pound the rock, low-scoring game. I like the under 42.5 here in this game, and I'm actually going to take the Titans. Team total under 20. I think that this Colts defense is better than people think it is. And they've been able to hold their opponents down pretty good. They held the Chiefs to 17 points last week. which that with that powerhouse offense, they've gone under in all 3 games. So I think that the Colts defense shows up here. They win like a 21-17 type of game, low scoring, and keep the Titans lower there. And I see a game where this is just a slug it out type of low scoring game with a lot of running with 2 offenses that aren't the greatest, which also you got to keep in mind with the Colts, the second week when they did nothing against Jacksonville, they were missing a couple of their best offensive weapons with Pittman, or their best offensive weapon with Pittman. And they showed last week that once they got him back, this offense is a lot better. So I'm going to look towards the Colts in this game. I like the Titans team total under 20, and I like the full game under 42.5, though, if I had to play this game, which I'm probably going to get to that under.
All right. This Colts team is still heavily overrated, even in some people's minds, even with it. And you know what? Last week was the Colts Super Bowl. That was their Super Bowl. This is a letdown spot if there ever has been one. They won outright against the best team, one of the best teams in football for years. They won outright after going 0-2, bouncing back out against the Jaguars. This is a letdown spot.
I would say it would be a letdown. I would say this would be a letdown spot if this wasn't a divisional opponent, because you need these divisional games. I would say this would be a letdown spot maybe if they're playing the Texans this week. Not a team that you've been competing with at the top of the AFC South the last few years.
Yes, I don't know if competing is the right word, because the Colts have lost against the Titans 4 of their last 5 games, but we'll go on to the next game. The Browns and the Falcons here. I will bring up the odds. You can currently find Cleveland minus 115 to minus 126. Atlanta plus 100 to plus 108. 48.5s and 49s when it comes to the total. No pick in this for me. If anything, part of me wants to take the Browns, but just because the sentence I just said, I think I need to check myself into a mental hospital. If I'm thinking about betting the Browns, I have issues. Where's 1-800-GAMBLER? I need to call it, because this Browns team is still the Browns. They will always be the Browns, and they will find a way to brown up this game. If anything, take Atlanta as a dog, because I could totally see this is the type of the game everyone's going to see. This Browns team that's supposed to be stacked at offense, defense, everything except quarterback, and they're only minus 115 against a really bad Atlanta team. What could possibly go wrong? Who knows? Nothing for me in this game yet. Nick, Browns, Falcons, what do you think here?
I think that this line should be wider. I love the Browns in this spot. Minus 120 is going to be something I have on my card. I'm rocking the Browns jersey for this. I really like the Browns this week. I had them as a -4 favorite, not a -1. I get it. You maybe bump them down half a point or a point because most likely you're not going to see Myles Garrett. The Falcons, they're coming in off of 2 West Coast games, which they covered in both of them. They did beat the Seahawks, but I have Seahawks rated as the worst team in football. So that was their only win so far this season. They are 3-0 against the spread. Maybe that's what's playing into a little bit. People are like, ooh, Falcons have actually been cashing tickets. This is one of those games where Cleveland is a good football team, I think. Cleveland has talent there. They've got a pretty decent defense. Maybe an interesting play in this game is the over, actually. Both these teams have gone over in all 3 games. 48's the total. I could see this being a little bit of a higher scoring game, 27-23, like we saw last week with Atlanta and Seattle. I can see this being a decently scoring game. This line has moved up from 45 to 48, so it has moved 3 points. I still think this game, I think I'd probably still bet it if it was at 50. So I'm going to lean towards the over in this game here. Maybe take the Browns team total over rather than them on the money line, because I can see them putting up 27 points and maybe even losing this game still. So maybe a team total over, full game over spot for me here. You can get over 24.5 with the Browns and the full game over 48. I can see this being a little bit of a higher scoring game. I'm still not high on this Falcons defense. And I would probably look that way because this Falcons defense gave up 23 to Geno Smith. They gave up 31 to the Rams, fine, and they gave up 27 to a Saints team that is not really putting up many points. So I would look towards the over in this game. I think look towards the Browns team total and the full game over.
All right. Minus 115 just seems kind of choppy to me. I don't know.
It's a road game, so I can see them.
But Atlanta's so bad.
There. Yeah,
they should be
still
minus.
Brissett. It's not Deshaun Watson yet. But I think this Browns team is good, and they've been a little bit underrated this year so far. I mean, everybody was all over Pittsburgh last week, including me. And they went out there and they took care of business in that game. So I think the Browns are better than we think they are. And we think just because they have Jacoby Brissett, it's not going to be good.
Perfect segue into the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the New York Jets. You can find the Jets plus 142 to plus 150. Pittsburgh minus 167 to minus 180. 3.5. I see a 4, 41.5, 41, and a 42 with the total. I am not getting involved with this game whatsoever. I'm completely staying off. Yes, Zach Wilson will be back, but I kind of want to take him to get to throw an interception, depending on what the price looks like at that, because I could see him having a bad first game back. I don't think he's necessarily going to come back and have a great first game. Having no regular preseason and coming in midweek, I could see a bad first game. But I don't trust Pittsburgh at minus 3.5. I don't trust Pittsburgh on the money line at minus 167, which is the best price you can get for it. So this game's a pass for me. I can't even go with the under because I don't know. The Jets are kind of fluky. I could see this skimming. I could see the just going over by a little bit. So it's ultimately a pass for me. Nick, Jets, Steelers. What do you think here?
Yeah, this is a big question mark game for me on what we're gonna get from the MILF Hunter, Zach Wilson. And we're getting Zach Wilson and Mitch Trubisky. And Stacy, yeah, got it. Nice. I really don't want to make a play in this game. If I had to, I'm going to take Pittsburgh minus 3. I have this game power ranked at a 5.5 towards Pittsburgh. And I even bumped up the Jets 2 points with Zach Wilson in the lineup. If they announce it's going to be Joe Flacco, I'll go ahead and undo that. And they're 7.5. I'll play the Steelers. If it's Joe Flacco, I'll definitely be playing the Steelers in this week. I still think the Steelers are the better overall team in this game. As for a total, it's a 41.5. I could see this being a low-scoring game because that's all we've seen from Pittsburgh so far. Their offense has struggled to move the ball down the field, but this defense, I think, is a pretty stout defense. They've given up 20 points to the Bengals and 17 to the Patriots, and then 29 to the Browns, but 7 of that was that fluky lateral crap at the end of the game that killed my push on the under 40. I could see this being a little bit of a low-scoring game, so I think actually a decent look for this one could be the Jets team total under 17.5. I think that could be an interesting look for this game before anything else. So maybe that's where I'll lean for this game. I'll lean Jets team total under, maybe a play on Pittsburgh.
All right. Moving on along to one of my favorite teams in the NFL. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, I'm not talking about the Eagles because they beat down on my Vikings, so obviously it would not be one of my favorite teams in the NFL. But we have the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 213 to plus 235. The Eagles minus 270 to minus 300. 6.5. So I see 1-7, 47, and 46.5 when it comes to the total. This Jaguars team has been a surprise. I think I don't think anybody would have had them leading the division at this point. Tim did say that he think they would come in second. So, but I think that was mostly he thinks that Tennessee is so bad that Jacksonville would finish ahead of them. Not that they would be,
which could happen. Which what we've seen so far looks pretty spot on at the moment.
Yeah, but I think it's more of his not hatred, his down opinions on Tennessee than it is Jacksonville's a good team. Jacksonville, I think, has surprised anybody at this point.
Yeah.
And here they are, plus 200, plus 230 favorites, and a 6.5. I'm tempted with the plus 7. Philadelphia, obviously 3-0 this year, looks pretty darn good. And they're at home here. And I can get why they're 6.5 favorites. I don't know. This Jacksonville team, just there's something about them other than the fact that they made me money every week so far, except week 1 against Washington. I just want to keep backing them. So officially nothing yet. If money comes in on Philly and I can get myself a plus 7.5, I will have a Jacksonville ticket for sure. Nick, Jaguars, Eagles, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that money comes in on the Jaguars here and drives this line down a little bit. So I can go ahead and get the Jaguars team total under 21 rather than a 20. Because that number does scare me a little. But I see a lower scoring game in this one here. I have a lot of unders written down this week. Unders have been pretty good in the NFL so far. Eventually, they're going to make that transition to the overs. But right now, unders have dominated. And one thing that you got to look at the Eagles too, other than their shootout against the Lions. I mentioned this after the Lions game that this Eagles defense is still pretty good on paper. And they've only gone up and followed that by giving up 7 points against Minnesota and 8 against Washington. Washington's got an okay offense. Carson Wentz is here nor there, but 8 points, those 8 points was after the game's already gotten away from them. So it's not like they scored that earlier in the game. That was after the halftime. That they end up putting 8 points. They put up 8 points in the fourth quarter, so they shut him out the first 3 quarters. So this Philly defense is pretty strong, and I think that the under is a good look in this game here. I want to back the Eagles. Obviously, I'm not laying 6.5 with the Eagles. My way of backing the Eagles would be taking the Jaguars team total under. I think this defense for the Eagles is legitimate, honestly. And we can see a lower scoring game here in this one as well. So I'm looking at the under 46 and the Jaguars team total under 20.
All right. Nobody believes in the Jaguars. You like the Eagles?
I see a 0.5 point value with the Eagles. I have them at a full touchdown. I think the Eagles right now are a top 4 team in the NFC.
Where would you rank Jacksonville?
Where would I rank Jacksonville?
1 to 32, 32 being the worst. Where would you have Jacksonville?
My power rankings have them at 20. They have the Cardinals, Steelers, Saints, Lions, Commanders, Giants, Panthers, Bears, Jets, Falcons, Texans, Seahawks below them.
Interesting. Okay. So Jaguars aren't that low on your standings?
No.
Eagles by 14 plus, says Tim. All right, I better see a minus 13.5
this year.
Eagles. Put your money where your mouth is, Tim. Let me see that Eagles minus 13.5 ticket.
We may need to talk to Tim and I may need to talk about that Eagles game for the Circa contest.
I'm so glad I'm not in your guys' position, but luckily you guys seem to agree on you don't disagree as much as you and I. If you and I had to do a Circa together,
well, we have different handicapping styles. I've noticed, so it is what it is.
Next game. Seahawks, Lions, as I mentioned earlier. Turnsey said watch out because the Lions have
that's why this line's dropped.
Yeah. Offense. You can find Seattle plus 170 to plus 180, to Detroit minus 200 to minus 225, 4s, 4.5s, and a 5, 48 and 48.5 on the total. Lean to Detroit money line right now, but that is about it. Definitely nothing official. Maybe what Turnsy's saying, maybe we look at an under. 48, an under with Detroit. I don't see a lot from Seattle's offense. And if Detroit's offense is going to be a little bit quieter, supposedly in this game, then maybe under 48's a look, but nothing for me yet. Nick, Seahawks, Lions, what do you think here?
Yeah, I was looking it up. There was 6 players not participating in practice, which are guard Jonah Jackson, center Frank Ragnow, T.J. Hawkinson, Josh Reynolds, Amara St. Brown, and DeAndre Swift. Who's going to play? We'll figure that out. It's unclear if Amara St. Brown's going to play. It's doubtful that Swift's going to play. Regardless, the Seahawks defense is still pretty bad, and I think this Lions offense still has some firepower here. This is a Lions team that's been putting up points in bunches, and I think we're getting a little bit of a discount now that there's been injuries here on the offensive side of the football. And even though there's been injuries, the Lions moved up 2 points. I like the Lions a little bit here this week. -4, it may be a circa pick. I have to talk to Tim about it. But I'm probably not going to bet the -4. I'm probably going to take their team total over 27 and the full game over 48. I'm going to continue to back overs with Lions games. It's just the way that this team plays. This team plays into the 50s every game, it feels like. And I got last week at a 52. So I was lucky to get the push on that one there. But mainly that was just the Vikings not being able to move the ball as much more rather than the Lions. So I can definitely see this game going over the total. And that's kind of where I'm leaning in this one is the Lions team total over 27. I still think they're going to be able to put up points against the Seahawks defense. And I think the Seahawks can put up some points as well in this game against a bad Lions defense. So I'm going to look to take possibly the Lions team total over 27 and the full game over 48.
I don't think we've agreed on one game yet, which doesn't really surprise me, but hey, it is what it is. But maybe this next game, maybe we can finally, in saying that, I need to find a way to bet them. I would look for a Amon St. Brown touchdown, but he might not play.
Look for DJ Chark touchdown.
There you go. The next game, we'll see if me and Nick can agree. Bears and Giants. You can find the Bears +140 to +152. The Giants -165 to -188. 3s and 3.5s. 39, mostly 39.5s when it comes to the total. And that's where I'm going is the total. I'm going under. I know it's a low total, 39.5, but the Bears have gone under in most of their game. I think don't have it quite up here at the moment, but
they're
I think
1 and 2 over under so far this year.
There you go. And the Giants, even though it was scary, the under cashed on Monday night. So I don't like a lot that I see from this Giants offense. I definitely don't like the Bears offense. So this is going to be an under for me. How much do I like it compared to my other plays? I'm not sure yet. But I'll find a way to have the under on my card. Nick, are you taking the over in this game?
I thought when you said we were going to be on the same side, I thought you were going to look at the Giants in this game because I was looking at the Giants a little bit here with their team total over 21. I like the way that they started moving the ball in that game against the Cowboys a little bit. Obviously, they had some mishaps on special teams. They had a blocked field goal, which doesn't help, and they had a couple turnovers, but they were starting to finally move the ball, which is something that we've seen them struggle to do a little bit this season. And the Bears defense is good, but it's not great. I can see them moving the ball a little bit here against them. And that I think this total is crept a little too low. I think that 23-20 could be a potential score for this game, something along those lines. I actually lean towards the over in this one, over 39.5. I know it's ugly, but I think this line's just gone a little too low. And I think that we can see potential points in this game, but I like the Giants a little bit more. I like the Giants in this game an awful lot, though. I mean, even on a short week, I have them power ranked as 4.5 point favorites, and you can get -3 for them for like -123. So I'm gonna look probably towards the Giants in this game. I don't know if I'm gonna get to the team total over or just the Giants -3, but I see them taking care of business against the Bills or the Bears here.
All right. Well, either you saw my sheet and you decided to go against me, or it's just luck.
No,
But
I mean the Bears went over that it was a 39.5 last week, and they went over that total. So I can see them doing it again. It was 23-20 against the Texans. We could potentially see Justin Fields turnovers and Daniel Jones turnovers that lead to short fields. So sometimes bad quarterback play could lead to short fields, which can lead to more scoring. So 39.5, I don't know, it feels a little low to me.
all right. We'll try again in this one and see if we can agree. We have the Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans. You can find the Chargers -225 to -250. Houston +180 to +200. -5, a couple -5.5s, 1 4.5, and then 44 and 44.5 when it comes to the total. And again, this is another one of my unders. I'm looking at under 44.5 in this one. Herbert did not look very good. I did not watch the game, so I'm not going to say. But from everything I've heard, that he did not look good in that game. Obviously, Jacksonville did a beatdown to the Chargers. So now they're -5 favorites here on the road in Houston. While I'm definitely not backing Houston, I think this is a lower scoring game. I think we do see a good defensive game from the Chargers defense. I don't think Houston puts a whole lot on the board, but I could see this being something like 17-13 or something like that. And Chargers maybe not covering that spread, or maybe even Houston somehow upsetting. That could possibly happen as well. But I like the under here. I think we have a lower scoring game. Nick, Chargers Texans, are you on the over in this game?
No. And the question is, what Justin Herbert are we going to see this week? And that was a big question that we were asking last week. I unfortunately bet the game early last week, and I got the Chargers at -7, and it went all the way down to 3, and then went all the way right back up to 7 when they announced Herbert was in, and Herbert looked terrible. The Jaguars got dominated that game. And now I have this game at a 7.5 power ranked, but I do not want to touch the Chargers because I'm seeing 5.5s, and those 5.5s scare the crap out of me when I'm looking at back and over because we've seen this a lot this year. 5.5 point favorites or 5.5 point dogs are cashing at an alarming rate. Like that's a weird number. Like, and I've heard other handicappers tell me this too, that when you see a team at a 5.5, there has to be a pretty good reason for you to back the favorite. I mean, we saw the Colts win straight up as 5.5 point dogs last week. We saw the Dolphins win straight up at 5.5 week 1 with the Falcons. Like 5.5 is that magical dog number for whatever reason. So I want nothing to do with the side. I do like the under in this game. That is kind of where I was going with this one here. Both teams have trended towards the under a little bit this year. Last week went over for the Chargers, but that's just because they gave up 38 points to the Jaguars, which makes absolutely no sense. And the Chargers have played good opponents a little bit this year too. They played the Chiefs and they played the Raiders. So they've had decent strength of schedule. Raiders, I'm still trying to make what they are. I don't think they're a very good team, but and Houston's a weird team because I think I saw a stat. It was 42-6. 42-6 teams that win the game straight up have covered the spread. Whether you're a dog or if you're a favorite, if you've won the game as a favorite, you've covered. Or like the winning teams have covered 42 out of 48 games. And there's 3 teams that those 6 losses straight ups but covers belong to. Texans are one of them. The Texans have covered 2 games that they have either lost or didn't win. I can see this as a game where Houston loses but covers the spread. I think this is a low-scoring game, 21-17. I think could be an interesting look in this one. I like the under a little bit in this one.
Yay! We agree. That's awesome. Okay, so one game we agree on. There we go. I like it. But no, we'll move on to the next one. We have Mr. Call of Duty, Kyler Murray, and the Arizona Cardinals heading to Carolina to face the Panthers. You can find Arizona plus 100 to plus 105, Carolina minus 118 to minus 120, 1.5s, a couple 2s, 42.5s, a couple 43s. In this one, this is an interesting game for me. I want to take the Panthers. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I'm trying to kind of talk myself off the Panthers, but I'm not high on this Arizona team. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game. I think I could see a lot of people thinking that Arizona should be favored in this game because Carolina, I don't know. Carolina is not really particularly good in anything. I want to back them, and that's all. I can't really explain why. My gut just says to back the Panthers, but nothing officially for me yet. Nick, Cardinals, Panthers. What do you think here?
I think this game is lined about correct. My power rankings say Cardinals -1. And I believe we're getting Panthers -1. So give or take a couple cents. There may be a little bit of value on the Cardinals here. Am I looking to back them here? No. I would lean under, but this game has already moved 2 points to the under, which scares me. And included going through what I believe is a key number for totals at a 44. It's gone from, I believe, a 45 to a 43. Obviously, the 24-20 score, that's a kind of a key number there. So this game is a very big meh to me. And this one is probably one of the easier passes on the slate for me.
There you go. I will not be taking an under with the Cardinals all year long because of their defense. I just don't trust them. But yeah. New England and Green Bay, we have the biggest underdogs of the week here in the New England Patriots heading to Green Bay. You can find New England plus 9.5 and plus 10 now. And you can find 39.5, 40, and 40.5 when it comes to the total. I want to take New England plus 10. If it goes to plus 10.5, I'll definitely be looking at it. I don't think New England wins this game. I do think the Packers win this game, but I think 10.5 is a lot of points here. But New England is not a good team. The Packers are still a good team, but I just think 9.5 points is a lot. Maybe being at home helps them as well, but I could easily see them winning by 7. New England has been kind of scrappy. They're not a good team, but they're a scrappy team. And I could see them covering this spread here. Nick, Patriots, Packers, what do you think here?
I'm genuinely curious to see where this line goes because I have this game at Packers -8.5. If I can get up over the double digits, maybe taking 10 and a hook, I'll look towards the Patriots in this game. And I can see with Bill Belichick getting this many points with a total this low, I can see them covering this spread. Also, I'm seeing 40.5, but the team total for the Patriots is 14. That's a low total. And I get it. Patriots have not looked good offensively. They actually came through and scored some points last week, though. And they've put up at least 14 points in back-to-back weeks. They did it against Pittsburgh, and they did it against Baltimore. And I think both those defenses could be better than the Packers. They're up there with the Packers. I know this is going to sound really ugly. I want them to continue to bet this game lower, and I want Brian Hoyer. I want Brian Hoyer as the quarterback, so I can get maybe 13.5 on this team total, and I can get like maybe a 39.5, 40 for the total, and I'm going to look to bet this game over because I can see this game going 21-20. Like I can see this being a scrappy game. I think this is too many points, especially with the Packers team that put up 16 points last week. And this Patriots defense, I still think is a pretty decent defense, but I'm going to look towards the Patriots here. I'm going to look towards the over, especially if I can get a 13.5 on the team total with the Patriots asking for 2 touchdowns.
All right. And next we'll go to the game that I don't really want to go to because if you've seen the Futures show, this is the game that makes me want to delete the Futures show with my opinions. We have the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought this Raiders team would win the division. And now look at them, the only undefeated team. And this Broncos team, who I said would finish third, may very well still finish third, but I thought they'd be a lot more competitive and have a lot better of an offense than they have. So I've been completely wrong about both of these teams so far. You can find Denver plus 115 and plus 127. Vegas minus 139 and minus 150. Vegas minus 2.5 and minus 3. 45 and 45.5 with the total. And for me, it is a pass. I can't get either of these teams right now. So I am totally passing. Nick, Broncos, Raiders, what do you think here?
I think the Broncos may have one of the best, if not the best, defense in football. This defense has been absolutely dominant. There's a reason why this team has gone under in all 3 games so far this year. They've given up 17, 9, and 10. They are second in the league, only giving up 12 points per game. And they're facing a Raiders team I've not been very impressed with. And I could see this game being another low-scoring, grinded-out type of game for the Broncos. I like I'm looking at the Raiders team total under 23.5 and the full game under 45.5. I see this being a lower-scoring game, another divisional game I can see going under. I like Denver's defense. Denver's defense has just been dominant. They shut down the Niners to 10 points last week, and this defense is the reason why this team is 2-1 right now. And they're the reason why they're almost 3-0 because they shut out the Seahawks in the second half of that first week. So I can see this being a lower scoring game. Also, the Broncos are 31st in football for points per game. So I can see another conservative play calling, struggle to move the offense type of game, but that defense comes in clutch. So I'm gonna look at the Raiders team total under most likely and the full game under.
All right. Sorry, I was having a bit of, as you can see, my background is gone. A little bit of computer issues here. But we'll go to Sunday Night Football. We have the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. You can find Kansas City minus 116 to minus 120. Tampa Bay is plus 100 or minus 105 to plus 106. I see Kansas City minus 1 and minus 1.5, 45.5, mostly 45s with the total. This one is one of the toughest games of the week for me. I just have absolutely nothing. Part of me wants to take Tampa Bay as a dog at home, but I don't really like to fade the Chiefs. This is a really tough one. It is a primetime game, so I'm assuming I know where Nick is going. Tampa Bay does have a very good defense, but right now, nothing for me in this one. lean towards Tampa Bay, but no official play. Nick, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Sunday Night Football. What do you think here?
Yeah, you know exactly where I'm going with this game because if you've seen me every primetime game, which are 7-2-1. So yeah, no, I'm gonna be on the under in this game. It's a 45. And I would not be surprised if it goes down. Also, they could be affected by winds in this game. With the hurricane coming through, the wind conditions. If this game is even played on Sunday night, this could be bumped back because of conditions, or it could be moved to a neutral field. Currently, at the moment, I like the Buccaneers in this game a little bit too. I have them as 3.5-point home favorites projected, and we're getting them around to pick them. I think that the Buccaneers are a better team than the Chiefs this year. And I can see this as a game where this Buccaneers defense is the best in football. I was mentioning that last game with the Broncos being the number 2 team in the football, giving up 12 points a game. Here's your number 1. They give up 9 points a game, this Buccaneers defense. They are dominant. And I think they can shut down this Chiefs offense. I think they can be up to the task of slowing down Mahomes in this offense. As crazy as scary as this sounds, I'm leaning Chiefs team total under 23.5 as well. I noticed I liked a lot of team totals this week, and I'm going to probably look to target those a little bit more. Team total under 23.5 here with the Chiefs, potentially looking at the Buccaneers as a potential circuit play. And I think the Buccaneers win this game outright, and it's a low-scoring, sloppy game, maybe a 20-17, 17-16, something like that. Low-scoring, grinded out, defense-heavy game. This Chiefs defense is not bad as well, and this Buccaneers team can struggle to move the ball at times. So I definitely like the under 45 in this game. That is going to make my card, and I'm probably going to look at that team total under for the Chiefs as well.
All right. And we'll move to the final game of the week. And of course, with these Sunday or Monday and Thursday games, we'll be going over these on the Monday and Thursday shows. We'll still get to hear about these games at other times. And then obviously the Sunday games we'll go over on Saturday night this week. Time to be determined, but it'll be sometime Saturday night instead of Sunday morning because of the London game. But here in Monday Night Football, Rams and 49ers. You can find the Rams plus 100 to plus 105. The Niners minus 115 and minus 125. Minus 1.5, minus 2s, and 42s for the total, 142.5. These minus 1 and 1.5s are interesting numbers. But I have to lean with the Rams in this one. But I have not got to anything. Not a whole lot of picks for me so far. I need more time to see like line movement and stuff and injuries I need a little bit more time in this game. Right now it's a pass, but I'll probably be looking towards the Rams in this one. Nick, Rams, 49ers, what do you think here?
I think the line's spot on. I had this game at Niners minus 1. It's a Niners minus 1. I'll ride with the primetime unders here under 42 in this game. Divisional game as well. Divisional primetime game spells under for me. We saw what the Niners did last week with the Broncos, and I can see something similar to that. Obviously, though, we've seen the Rams actually play unders this year a little bit. They're 2-1 to the under, and the Niners have gone under in all 3 games. So unders have been very prevalent in the NFL so far this year. The Niners are averaging 15.7 points per game, which is 29th in football, and they're only giving up 12.3, which is 3rd in football. So they've got an elite defense as well. And I think this Niners team, all they need is a good quarterback because Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance is not the right choice. They need to go out and get somebody, but I can see this game going under 42. I see another low scoring 20-17, 17-14, something along those lines type of game here under the 42 for Monday Night Football.
All right. And next up, we'll get to the best bet segment. Nick has not put his picks in yet.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, I totally forgot about
but
that.
that is totally okay. We will get to it. Put Nick right on the spot. I'm just kidding. But go to over-under here. And for me, Chargers and Houston under 44.5. Tim is going Arizona, Carolina under 43. Dave is taking the Detroit Lions, team total over 27.5. And Bryant is taking Kansas City Chiefs, team total over 24.5. Nick, you are going Vegas and Denver under 45.5. And I will get the odds for that. No. Minus 107. Going on to dog of the week. For me, Tennessee Titans plus 160. Tim is going with his New York Jets plus 155. Dave and Nick are both going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they are no longer minus one or plus 115.
I didn't know. I just
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Him.
I have to adjust it anyway because I did that earlier when Dave sent me his picks. But yeah, you can find them plus 106 now.
That's fine. It was either that or the Broncos, but I already put the Broncos under as a total. So
there we go. And Brian is going with the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 230. I'll have to discuss that with him because maybe I'll tail him on that one. I like me some Jaguars. I know it's crazy. They're one of the laughing stocks of the NFL, but this year they're good. Maybe I'll like them as a meme, like Tim liked the Sabres last year. For a meme, I'll like the Jaguars now. But going on to best bets for the week. Yes, I'm going to do it. Minnesota Vikings, a minus 2.5 in London. No home field advantage for the Saints in this one, so it's a neutral field. Minus 110 for the Vikings, minus 2.5. Tim is going Seattle, Detroit over 48 as his best bet. Dave is taking the Dallas Cowboys, minus 3. Bryant is going Rams, minus 2.5. And Nick is thinking about it. I wish we had the Jeopardy music. And give you like 20 seconds and then
yeah, no, I'll go with this one. No, this one's fine. I just have to learn how to spell the city because I can never get the city right when I type this team out.
You still spelled it wrong, but interesting.
Son of a bitch.
No, I thought it was gonna be like Cincinnati or
Cincinnati. I learned it's Sin with 2 N's the second time.
Okay, as a Canadian, I had to learn so myself, but because we don't learn that in school.
It took me a second to learn Cincinnati as well.
There you go. But that is the NFL show, week 4. I know not a whole lot of picks today, but some weeks are going to stand out more than others, and that's how it goes. Make sure to tune into the show, as I said, Saturday night, time to be determined for the Sunday night games. Obviously, tune in tomorrow for the Thursday show. We'll be going over the Thursday night game as well. But best of luck to everybody. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Find my premium plays and Nick's premium plays on Picks and Parlays. Use earlsportsbets.com. The link is down below. But best of luck to everybody on your bets. Let's beat the bookies. And we will talk again. Best of luck, guys. Have a good one.